Hi everyone, welcome to Millennium Computers online 5-minute tutorial series. Today's course is going to answer the question, how do I hide columns from my reports? Now there's two ways to approach this, and I find a lot of people are confused about the difference between each option. We're going to cover both the end user perspective, so everyday people who just want to hide or suppress columns in the report data. And we're also going to cover the administrative perspective. And so that means, do we want to turn off this column globally for all end users? Let's go ahead and execute a report. And I'm working right now in the FAST Human Resource Reporting application, but obviously the functionality for today's course can be applied to any application within FAST. So I've executed a pretty big report. This is the current jobs information report. So it's going to show all jobs that are current for all employees. And in this case, I've limited that query to reflect a specific job class. Now you're going to notice on this report, and probably on a lot of your reports, that there may be columns that are not necessarily used at your institution or in your department. Here's a couple examples at the end of this report. There are a couple columns here for supervisor information that are clearly blank in my ERP. In other words, we either do not use those fields in my ERP, or maybe we just don't use them yet. So there's a couple things we can do. Now, as an end user, if I was running this report, I would probably want to hide these columns because they're not going to be relevant to my particular needs. There's a couple options in terms of how to get rid of those or hide them from my report. The first is just click on any of your column headers. When the toolbar opens up, scroll down to hide this column. Now, when your report re-executes, which it will do as soon as you click hide, it's just going to redraw the report without that column. So let's scroll over to the right-hand side again. And now notice that field that we just suppressed is no longer showing on the report. Now this could be a fairly lengthy process if in fact I'm trying to get rid of maybe a half dozen columns. A better way to approach this is just click on the plus more tab and then find your advanced options. Select advanced options. And of course from here, I can scroll down the list and these columns are going to appear from top to bottom as they appear on the page from left to right. So if I want to maybe delete all of these columns, just go ahead and deselect all those checkboxes. That's going to get rid of any columns that I'm not currently using and I don't want to see on this report. Now, keep in mind, until we actually save this as an executed pinned report, these changes are not going to hold. In other words, if I were to log out of FAST right now and come back in, this report would be back to the baseline settings. We can also, of course, move these columns around a little bit if I would like to. So if I would like to move columns up or down, you can certainly just drag and drop those from your advanced options page. When you're ready, go ahead and click on the execute report button because anytime you make a change to a report, you have to re-execute it for those changes to take effect. Now, if I scroll back over to the right-hand side, all those columns that we just deleted are no longer visible on this report. Now, once again, if I want to maintain this on an ongoing basis, and I'd like to keep my current jobs information report with a job class of union salaried and a status of active, the best idea for me right now is going to be to click the Save As button. This is going to allow me to save this as a pinned report and run this data in this format on an ongoing basis. Now, we've covered pinned reports extensively in other videos. This wraps up the initial video, which explains how to delete or hide columns from my report as an end user. Please join us for the next How Do I tutorial, and I'm going to cover the same exact functionality, but from the perspective of the administrator. That means if I want to change this report for all end users, not just for myself. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope this was helpful.